Thank you for waking us all up out here.
For all you do. And
thank you for giving us a voice.
For being out there helping to keep the constitutional republic.
I want to thank you for
your support for veterans in the military.
Educating us.
Standing up for conservatism.
Giving us the truth.
Daybreak with Steele.
I'm a little distracted. Sorry. Hey, good morning. Somebody in the building is jamming out to "Oh What a Night." What is it? 1963. "Oh What a Night." Remember that song? It's like, oh, you can't hear it, right? It's so loud. I don't know. Like, what? Where is that coming from? At first, I thought it was just me, but no, it's. I could tell. Yeah, it's boy, is that loud. Wow, they're jamming out. All right. So a lot of things going on. They're not jamming out in Washington, D.C. It's a weird way to put it. Congressman Byron Donald is joining us on Daybreak 92.5 Fox News, our Thursday visit. First of all, good morning. How are you today?
Hey, Drew. How you doing?
That was really distracting. It's weird. When you hear somebody, when you hear sound thumping through the walls, and it's just it can be especially when it's a song that you're like, really, that's what you're jamming out to. People jam out to the oddest songs. I think that's the problem. It's not that it's fun. It's nice that people are enjoying music, but when it's a really bad song, I guess maybe that's a weird way to start our conversation. It's better than some of the politics that are happening. But anyway.
Yeah, it's kind of like this is kind of the same thing. Politics sometimes. It's like, wait, what? That's what you're gonna say?
Yeah.
Or that's what you really think?
I know
it's actually quite similar.
I know this is a really odd way to start the conversation, but why not? I already went there. Are there some people there in D.C. that you question their musical choices? Like, there's some representatives that you're like, dude, what are you listening to right now? Do you ever do that?
So the funny thing on Capitol Hill is you never really hear much of what members listen to music-wise, just because nobody really plays music up here. The staff will do periodically, every now and again, but typically that's not the case. You only find that out if you're hanging out with members later.
Yeah.
And guys are hanging around, having dinner, having drinks, stuff like that.
All right, so here's what I'm going to do, though, because I'm going to give you a moment to think about it while we have a serious conversation about things that are happening. But here's how we're going to end our segment today. I'm going to throw some names of some politicians at you, and I want you to tell me what songs you think's on their playlist. Okay?
Oh, my gosh.
I'm doing it.
All
yes,
right.
I'm doing it. Okay, good. Well, you have no choice because you're going to be, unless you hang up on me. So that's coming. All right, so I'm giving you time. So that's coming up. So while we're having this conversation, I'm not going to do it to you right now. I'll give you some time. All right. So yesterday, what happened? So we had the Reforming Intelligence and Securing America Act that because here's the thing. I hear two sides, right? I hear one side that is like, the former president, kill FISA. All right, so they went out and 19 Republicans voted to block the bill from moving forward. Rand Paul is excited about it, standing strong, defeating the bill today. And then you have some, like Representative Massey, who were saying about doing this. Well, hold on a second. You blocked the chance for an up and down vote on a warrant requirement. Well, was there a warrant requirement in there or not? I mean, people are upset about FISA and 702 in the section and are certainly concerned about warrantless spying on American citizens. So just tell me what happened yesterday, how you voted, what went down. Go ahead.
So yesterday there was a vote on the House floor for, well, back up.
Yeah.
Any bill that passes on the House floor or the Senate floor for that matter requires a rule to go. There's a rule vote that has to happen before the actual bill is brought up for a vote, okay? Mm-hmm. The rule is what died yesterday. And the reason the rule vote died is because there were many members, myself included, who wanted to see more access to amendment votes on the underlying bill. What came out of Rules Committee was they allowed about 6 amendments were going to be allowed. The warrant requirement, which is what I think, Senator Paul, a lot of members want to see, and frankly, I think most members of the House want to see, the amendment for a warrant requirement for tapping the query or looking at the query, that was not a part of the amendment package that was in the rule. So that's why the rule was defeated. Also, part of the issue is that, up here, it's pretty much like the intelligence community and the intel committees are trying to force feed what some of the reforms are going to be to FISA. And there's members who are just like, no, like, we don't work for the intelligence community. Like, that's actually what we had a conference meeting last night. That's what I told the speaker and the leadership team. Like, we don't work for the Intel Committee. If there are amendments that the members want to have, those amendments should be allowed, because what the FBI and the intelligence community has done with FISA, I mean, they basically broke the law 300,000 times.
Yeah, they did.
So I'm not interested in what they say about the reforms. This is fundamental to the Bill of Rights and the Fourth Amendment. The members of Congress need to be able to speak their mind with respect to what amendments are going to be heard or not the intelligence community and not the leadership team trying to essentially shape the package
right
on its way to passage.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. You had 19 of my colleagues decided, you know what? We don't like this, so we're gonna defeat the rule, which doesn't give the ability to actually get to the underlying bill and then vote up or down on the amendments. Now, where are we now?
Right.
Is Speaker Johnson's got to make a decision. My advice to him and the leadership is allow for an open amendment process on the reform of FISA. That way, the members are allowed to, whether it's good or bad, they get a chance to speak on this, because you're talking about an apparatus that has allowed for the agencies to spy on the American people.
Yeah.
Forget, Drew, we talk so much about, border and a bunch of different things. The collection of intelligence, especially if it potentially is directed at domestic situations, is critical and fundamental to the republic.
Right.
So this can't be a package where, the leadership just came and negotiated something and brought it to us, and now we're going to go vote for it. No, the members need to be able to speak their mind on all these various issues. And to be blunt, the chips need to fall where they may. You can't try to formulate this package saying, well, we know more than you guys know, so just vote for this. That's not good enough. Yeah. Not when it comes to FISA.
Right.
I think with what President Trump was saying about kill FISA is correct. The current form of FISA that is allowed for the spying, not just on his campaign, but the spying on a lot of Americans, that needs to die. It does need to die. But what happened is there wasn't enough access to the amendments that a good number of members, more than the 19 that voted no on the rule, but a good number of members didn't think that they were getting access to the real reforms of FISA that should happen. That's why the rule went down. Right.
And so just so we're clear, you talk about the query package and what I'm sure that FBI and the guidance that they would give and have in the past, they don't have a problem with, for example, the 2-hop rule. And that's been the biggest. That was part of the Trump-Russia collusion hoax, if you will, and this idea that they were using the excuse of going after American citizens and spying on them as, well, they were communicating with somebody that we feel is a bad guy. And that's
yes.
Right. So to be able to do that and to kind of circumvent the idea of a warrant, people stood up and said, whoa, wait a second.
Yes,
that's
correct.
And fundamentally, that's what we're talking about here. It's just so everybody understands that and so when they come along, so when the intelligence community says, hey, we have an idea on how to fix this, it's like, no. You're the ones that are breaking this. Forgive us if we don't trust you to give us something that is actually going to be a positive amendment, right? They're going to always do it in their best interest. That's the problem. You failed us on the trust factor in the past. Forgive us if we don't believe what it is you're presenting is going to be something that's going to be beneficial to the American people. I just don't believe it.
Well, listen, what you're saying now is the mood of I would say the majority of members in the Republican conference. Like I said, we had a conference meeting last night, And so, yeah, you had members who voted for the rule who were also saying, like, yeah, but look, you have to allow for us to vote for these things. Like, you can't block us from voting for a lot of these other provisions that we feel is going to help FISA. And simply put, we don't work for the intelligence community.
Yeah.
We don't work for the FISA apparatus. The FISA apparatus was put in place after 9/11 through the Patriot Act. But if you go back and if we're going to go back down memory lane, the reason why you had an intelligence deficiency was not the ability to collect intelligence. It was for the different portions of the intelligence community didn't share the intelligence. But when they brought in the Patriot Act, FISA was a part of it, and that was under the guise of, we have to do something, we got to protect Americans, we got to protect the homeland, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you might have had an argument, but the intelligence community has abused FISA.
Yeah.
So, like, if you've abused something repeatedly, knowing you abused it, didn't hold yourself accountable about it, didn't come to Congress and say, you know what, this has been abused, we got to fix this, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
The members are the ones saying, no, this isn't going to happen anymore. We got to change this thing. So this is where, for the leadership team, a lot of members, myself included, are like, we don't care what the intelligence community says. We're going to reform the thing. It needs to be reformed. And taking their advice on it shouldn't be the end-all, be-all.
Yeah. You weren't one of the ones that voted no, though, right?
No. And there's a reason for that. So personally, I'll just tell everybody, I don't believe in voting down rules. That's me. And that's just my position. It's, I was in the state legislature, and we just never voted down rules or procedural motions. Mm-hmm. Obviously in the state legislature, we weren't doing stupid bills, so it just was a practice. And so, like, my practice in D.C. is, and I've had the conversation with members who've decided to vote against rules. They're like, well, are you going to vote for the rule? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to vote for the rule. Largely because, Drew, at some point, somebody's got to be able to go sit down with the leadership and basically be able to bridge the gap between my colleagues who were just like, no, screw that, I ain't voting for that rule, and then also trying to find a way for the package to be resurrected, become better. Yeah, and that's something that can be voted on.
Well, sure, and that makes
I don't vote no on rules. That's
okay, and that makes sense. If nothing else, for the fact that we're never going to move this ball forward if we don't have discussions and debates and figure out what in the world we're going to be doing and what needs to be done and what your constituents are demanding or asking politely what you do and how many around the country have been, and so this thing keeps stumbling through, and of course the mainstream media makes it look like it's Speaker Johnson is on the ropes and Republicans and they're on the ropes and they don't know what they're doing.
Well, let me say this. Two things. First of all, the press is all like, well, what does this mean for his job? What does this mean for this? And I'm like, it means nothing. Listen, the sausage making, if you will, on Capitol Hill is messy. Yeah. I think with media and social media, people are getting a lot more of the details of how it's done, but I don't think anybody's going to overly care about how the process happened. The only thing that people, Americans, voters, are going to really care about is what the end product looks like. And what did a House majority, a Republican House majority, allow in the product? So the internal work or rules going down or bills having to be pulled off the floor, like on Capitol Hill, we have members who've been here a while who are just like, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing. And I'm like, no, it's not. This is business. Yeah. What's your end product look like? When we're done with this issue, what is it going to be? That's the thing that matters, not the process that you went through to get there. I think even for some of my colleagues who voted against the rule, I think they've positioned it as we have saved the country or we've protected civil liberties by voting down this rule because the bill would have allowed these things. The problem with that is that there are members who did not vote against the rule who want the same thing. They just didn't vote down the rule.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And so now those members are at home saying, people are like, well, why did you vote to keep FISA? I didn't vote to keep FISA.
Right.
That's not what happened. But that's how it's being postured. And so, like, again, this is politics. We'll get through this too, but the reforms to FISA are critically needed. I believe that at this point in time, I don't think the speaker has a plan one way or the other of how this is going to go. The last thing that needs to occur is a clean reauthorization of the existing FISA program.
Yeah.
That would be an unmitigated disaster.
Yeah, I could see that. All right, Congressman Byron Donalds joining us on Daybreak, 92.5 Fox News. Here we go. We're gonna end this segment with a little bit of fun. I know there's no pressure at all, but I'm gonna put some music behind it too. Okay, so here we go. All right, so we're thinking about music. We're thinking about how in DC, nobody really plays music there in the halls. So, but you have an idea of, what people might have on their playlist. All right, let's start with Jim Jordan. What do you think Jim Jordan's, like if he had a go-to song, what's Jim Jordan's go-to song? What do you think?
Oh, Eye of the Tiger from the Rocky movie.
Oh, okay. All right. I like that. That's a good one. Okay. Adam Schiff.
Who the hell cares?
Okay.
Jeez.
Is that enough?
You kidding me?
What? It's gotta be.
Adam Schiff is, oh my gosh.
You have to have an answer, though. Otherwise, you have to stay for another half an hour, and we don't have time.
Russian symphony orchestra.
Playing the Soviet Union theme. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
All right.
The Russian national anthem.
That's it. No, the Soviet national. Yeah.
The Soviet anthem.
Yeah, let's get it right. Yeah, that's
anthem.
for sure. Okay. All right, I'm not going to do the rest to you. It's too much. It's too early in the morning for you to. That's good enough. I like those two answers.
Come on, Drew. Don't do that. Two more.
Okay. Look at you. All right. I like it. Bowing up on me a little bit. I like that. Good. Let's do this. Okay. Joe Biden.
Oh my gosh.
You wanted
polka.
it. You wanted it.
He listens to polka music.
No, he doesn't. Polka? You have to give me a song. You need a specific.
Oh, a song?
Of course, a song.
Joe Biden.
Yep.
He doesn't even know what music is.
All right. Well, okay. That is the correct answer. That is that is right. He doesn't know. Okay. Yeah, I can't think of anybody. I know people are texting. I don't know. I can't think of anybody else. I'm looking at the time and I don't want to run into the break. So
that's it. Southwest Florida. Drew's got to pay the bills. They got to pay the bills on the station.
That's it. Okay. All right, Congressman. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for having a little bit of fun. A very tiny, small, little baby bit of fun, as it were.
See you, Drew.
Okay, see you. All right, there he goes. We could have done this. I could have done it longer, but all right, good. All right, coming up, the top 5 audio clips of the day. It's a 5 at 8:35.